Hello friends, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear children. This is Syed Zafar Mahmood. Today is 3rd of January 2023 and we are talking today about purifying the marriage celebrations. And the thrust today is let us jointly push back the modern self-seeking, self-oriented trends that try to overrun this cosmic, sublime scheme of nurturing a happy society that is otherwise known as marriage. Friends and children, going against the basic mandate of faith, our society has unfortunately imposed upon itself undesirable mundane practices in the domain of matrimony. That way, organizing marriage has been hijacked as an object of exploitative selfishness by those third parties who wish to get rich without otherwise working hard and systematically towards reaching that self-goal. Take the case of the night intervening December 31 and January 1. It is not different from the remaining 364 nights of the year, but billions of dollars and rupees exchange hands in the world on that occasion without adding any value of even 1% to the societal uplift. Yes, some rich persons get rich at the cost of unsuspecting millions who unknowingly get trapped in this fabrication. Somewhat similar extravaganza, friends and children, is indulged in while celebrating within commas individual birthdays. There is no undue expenditure prescribed during any of the religious festivals like Ramadan and Eid. In fact, on these occasions, the festivity lies in giving away to the less blessed. Same is the case with the religious requirement of the sacred and solemn matrimonial pact between two young individuals. God says in 4.1 in the Quran-e-Kareem, O humankind, in due reverence for your Lord, keep from disobedience to Him who created you from a single human being and from it created its mate, and from the pair of them scattered a multitude of men and women. In due reverence for God, keep away from disobedience to Him in whose name you make demands of one another, and duly observe the rites of the wombs, thus observing piety in your relations with God and with human beings. God is ever watchful over you. Thus, friends and children, the lesson we get is that the matrimony should be considered as the purely spiritual twin duty to proliferate benevolent bonding in society and take the human race towards higher spiritual prosperity. With that sober intention in mind, no avoidable expenditure should be incurred, except, of course, giving the prescribed gift known as meher by the groom to the bride, welcoming her with the sentiment of respect. Let us thus fix the maximum number of persons allowed to comprise a barat or a marriage party at 11. It is not necessary to organize a grand feast in the name of walima, that is marriage banquet. At the most, 10 to 15 persons can assemble at the host family's home without it having to provide for additional seating space than is normally available within the household, nor additional dishes need to be organized. Many of us might not have done so in the past, including myself, but it is never too late to mend our ways. Such return to the roots will slice out the man-made commercial trappings of marriage and will instead brighten up its devotional components. Let us place ourselves in the skies and look at the earth from there. In the society, the number of girls eligible for marriage broadly matches the corresponding number of such boys. But in many cases, the constraint of costly mundane formalities holds up the nuptials. If each elder member of the society considers every girl and boy as his or her own daughter and son, the concomitant social tensions discoloring the solemnization of marriages will evaporate. We need to recapitulate the scriptural injunction 17.27 Holy Quran that the wasteful are siblings of the devil who is ungrateful to God. Let us, friends and children, stop factorizing the evaluation of a grown-up boy's qualification to get married in terms of his capacity to add to the family's revenues. Instead, taking a holistic view of the society, let us treat marriages as a phenomenon that only catalyzes internal kaleidoscopic changes in the societal topography through the happy relocation of our girls from one parental household to another. That would go to reaffirm our faith in its proper perspective in the scriptural injunction that God has made the humanity in pairs, 35.11 Holy Quran. A friend in Lucknow recalls that once during the second half of the 20th century, his father told the younger son to travel to a nearby town where father's brother lived. After he reached there, his uncle went to another house in the neighborhood and told a girl's parents that she is going to get married that evening with a boy who has come from Lucknow. The marriage did take place with utmost simplicity and immensely succeeded and flourished. during our year of grace 2023, friends and children, this may apparently seem oversimplification and to some even humorous. Yet, it does provide food for serious thought for us today. We have to do our bit to dress down the widespread commercialization of the so-called marriage ceremonies. We can begin from encouraging nikah to be necessarily performed in the mosque or masjid. The imams and khatibs need to call for this during Friday sermons. The extra money which either family is willing to spend on the occasion of marriage should be diverted by way of charity to uplift the deprived sections of the society. Let us be mindful of the divine warning. Whosoever denies the faith, his work is in vain, and he will be among the losers in the hereafter. 5.5 Holy Quran. In this regard, the corona pandemic, we may call it coronosphere, appears to be a blessing in disguise. It provided an ideal setting to undergo the required internal metamorphosis. During 2020 and 2021, the world has surely slowed down and at times even stopped. But the process of aging goes on uninterruptedly, even of the youth. It would be sinful on my part to postpone my daughter's or son's marriage so that at a later date, when the economy fully reopens, I would perform the ceremonies with pomp and show. In the process, in addition to unethically promoting conspicuous consumption, I am also unnecessarily prolonging the life affairs of an effervescent generation. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear children, declaring these as one of his signs, 30.21 Holy Quran, God has created for the humanity spouses from amongst themselves so that they may find tranquility in them, and He has placed between them love and mercy. Let us therefore jointly push back the modern self-seeking, profit-oriented trends that try to overrun this cosmic, sublime scheme of nurturing a happy society. May our Creator keep all of us blessed. Ameen.